Okay, so I'm heating up the Kydex, getting ready to put it in. This is actually my second round on the Kydex. I wish I'd filmed the first round, and I'll see if I have the same issue the second time going. Might have a little advice for Nano users when they're doing this. Okay, so here's the Kydex out of the oven. Flop it down. I'll put it in a little Pyrex dish. And we'll see what it looks like in about 5 minutes. And doesn't harm the gun at all, so no worries there. And there's my Kydex. I'm probably going to do that again, not quite the level of detail, so I probably didn't get it heated up. But here's the issue I'm having. You can see this kind of hangs too far over in the front lip, so it's not getting pushed down all the way there. So I might trim the edge of this Kydex a little bit. Give it another go. So I've decided to trim a little bit of this Kydex here to make it sit down in the mold a little bit better. And what I've done is just line it up here, marked my line here, moved it back to the position that I want it to be up front here, so it'll just cover the front of the gun but still push down into the cutout of the mold. And then I've marked another line here, and I've used those two lines to mark my Kydex, and just then run a straight line down. I don't know if you can see the pencil mark on the Kydex, but it shows up pretty nicely. You can see it well enough cut, so I'm going to trim that off. Turns out to be about a half an inch. And there you have it, my two pieces of Kydex, cut very easily with a pair of tin snips. Here we go again. Flop. Yeah, she did. And again, I don't know whether I'm getting it hot enough or not. I'm going to give it a little bit more time. I mean, that would work. I mean, obviously it's formed over the gun, but really not the kind of depth and detail that I'm looking for. So I'm going to give it one more try. This is the finished product. Came out pretty well. Gun fits in there nicely. Although I still wasn't quite a clean line here for the sight channel. You can see it. I don't know if you can see, but it dips down a little bit here into. But I don't think that'll affect it. We'll see when we get it all put back together. Actually, if I had to do this again, I'd probably trim this Kydex down a little farther. I don't know, we'll see. I may not have it centered properly, so we'll see. But there it is, nice form. Some of the issues, I did this 3 or 4 times. I don't know. I had to heat the oven up probably 325, 330. Ended up leaving it in there for 8 minutes. The Kydex came out hot. It was actually kind of almost too hot to hold on to, but that was the only way I could get it to the proper flexibility so that it would form properly in the gun. The wood I had was a piece of shelving that was advertised as 1/2 inch by 12 inch by 48, so I was able to make all the pieces out of it. But when I measured this up, it's actually probably 3/4 inch, not 1/2 inch. So I think that made a difference in terms of the ease of making this, and maybe a little bit to do with this sag in the sight channel, because I had to push it down a little bit deeper than I think they intended to. So all in all, not too bad. I'm obviously not finished yet. One of the things I've seen so far is my advice would be, number one, watch all of the videos on their website from start to finish. I did not, and so I was a little bit surprised at some of the items that I would need. So watch all of that. They don't really give you a tool list. I'm going to put together a little list of stuff that you should have in your shop before you attempt this sort of a job. Good news is this Kydex is, even if I wanted to redo this, and I may, because I'm not sure if I've got enough, I'll have to check it out when I put it on, enough to get get my rivets in here, the screws and bolts in here to hold it down. I want to make sure I've got enough room there. So it was a little difficult getting it all centered up, and you can still see I've got a much more excess up top than I've got in the bottom. So that process wasn't all that easy, but again, it was very easy to reheat the Kydex and put it in there. It took me a few tries to get the temperature right on the Kydex. So all in all, to be quite honest with you, unless you really just love doing this stuff, it's kind of fun. It's kind of neat making your own holster, and the Nano is relatively new, so there aren't a lot of custom holsters out there for the Nano. However, if they had this form ready-made for me, the difference in cost in their kit, even if I was going to put the whole thing together, I would buy this pre-formed Kydex because it's well worth the $10 or $15 or whatever the extra charges they make for it. Unless you're going to make more than one of these, you're gonna spend another $10 on just stuff that you need to do this. If you don't happen to have 1/2-inch plywood lying around or press board lying around, you need a leather punch. So a few items that I'll put together, and